This week on his radio show, Howard Stern defended wokeism, saying it's a compliment when someone calls him woke. Listen.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, dude, call me woke as you want. I'm not for stupidity, but I am woke, motherfucker, and I love it.
Oh dear, he swore. He swore that'll win over the woke. He's a regular Huey Newton of the Hamptons.
Well, I know some of them, and like Howard, I was on Howard Stern's show as much as anybody, and
yeah.
he was great at that time, and then he went woke.
Yeah.
And since he's gone woke,
Howard Stern didn't just sell out. He auctioned off his legacy, threw in a free gift bag, and thanked the crowd for showing up. Enter Greg Gutfeld and Donald Trump, armed with receipts, jokes, and zero mercy. Stein, once the uncrowned king of controversy, now plays the part of a neutered hall monitor in a world he used to bone down for sport. Gutfeld cuts deep with satire. Trump charges him like a wrecking ball wrapped in sarcasm. Together, they don't just critique Stern's downfall. They headline it. Forget redemption arcs. This is a roast disguised as a eulogy.
Weird, because he criticizes Trump for dividing the country, and then he says he hates his supporters. So he's not learning from his own analysis. I think he might have turned into the thing he hated. He needs to go back and watch the movie Private Parts and focus on how he portrayed Don Imus, because he's kind of turned into Don Imus in a way. It's a mix of ego and
Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, what about, it was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like soft.
Howard Stern, once the unapologetic rebel of radio, now spirals into full meltdown mode, equal parts irony and tragedy. The man who once weaponized a microphone against conformity has become a caricature of everything he once mocked, a pearl-clutching, gated community scold wagging fingers at dissent. It's like watching a punk rock icon turn into a PTA president overnight. If hypocrisy had a mascot, Stern would be on the billboard. He's no longer fighting the machine. He is the machine, moonwalking into mainstream narratives like he's angling for a soft-focus CNN segment.
But that's how Stern can call snacking with celebs at a fancy restaurant exhausting. Exhausting. Like he finished the overnight shift in a coal mine. Or hearing Kat talk about her pets.
Fair.
But I get it, life is tough, especially when you've been cut off from the world for 2 years in a $20 million beach house. I mean, you have no idea how tiring it is walking all the way from the wine cellar to the tennis court and back.
Greg Gutfeld didn't need a monologue to expose the modern-day Howard Stern. Just a mirror would do the job. That reflection alone tells the whole story, a firebrand turned fog machine. This isn't evolution. It's a system reboot coded in fear, double standards, and enough hand sanitizer to drown a spine. And then comes Trump, not with nuance, but with the verbal equivalent of a bald eagle wielding a sledgehammer. When Trump name-drops Stern now, it's not anger, it's confusion. Like a rock legend spotting the wedding DJ and wondering, weren't you someone once?
Opposite of woke to me is asleep, and I think I'm awake. This must have gotten Trump all charged up, because at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, technically Sunday morning, he starts tweeting out, Howard Stern is a broken loser, jerk off, not loyal, the usual, tirade. And I thought to myself, I'll tell you my thought on it was, my thought was, what?
Howard Stern didn't just lose his edge. He gift-wrapped it, handed it in, and asked for a receipt. The same guy who once had late-night hosts sweating bullets now asks for permission before microwaving soup. Back then, Howard was a live wire. Radio XX tiptoed around him like he was a grenade with a ticking clock. Today, he makes Joy Behar look like she's opening for Sam Kinison at a Hells Angels reunion. Whatever this is, it isn't edgy. It's pre-approved, pre-sanitized, and bubble-wrapped for mass consumption.
Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, John Hamm, Justin Theroux, Jason Bateman. I was not invited. I guess because my first name doesn't begin with the letter.
Greg Gutfeld doesn't even need to stretch. He simply gestures at Howard Stern's downfall like a comic roasting a preachy Oscar speech. This was the rebel, he smirks. The same guy who once ridiculed celebrities for being out of touch is now clinking champagne glasses on the same yacht decks he used to sneer at. Howard didn't just join the club, he's polishing their trophies. The man who once dragged egos through the mud now carries pool towels for them. And worse, he's terrified. Of cancellation. Of backlash. Of the internet mob that might be waiting outside his mansion with hashtags and digital pitchforks.
I knew him very well. I was on the show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him. And I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged. Very challenged.
To be fair, that mob is probably real. But the Howard of old wouldn't have flinched. He would have dared them to try, then doubled down. Today's version? He's out here apologizing in advance for jokes he hasn't even told. That's not maturity, it's regression. It's the PR version of Benjamin Button. And then there's Trump, watching Stern's downfall like a lion amused by a declawed cat trying to roar. He doesn't even need to throw punches. Just existing in the same universe makes Stern spiral into another pre-scripted meltdown. The man's so scared of offense, he wouldn't toast bread without clearing it with the gluten-free lobby. Meanwhile, Gutfeld, armed with the smug precision of 10 Ivy League debaters and the charm of your smartest drunk friend, tears Stern's new persona apart. Not just for being fake, but for committing media's greatest sin, being boring. At least liars keep you guessing. Stern has become a rerun of his own self-betrayal. It's almost tragic watching someone who once bulldozed boundaries now ask them for permission slips. The same guy who once flipped off the system is now knitting at a sweater.
So vote for that wall over there.
Well, he's half right. We do need a wall. To keep out gang members, fentanyl dealers, human traffickers, and Anna Navarro. What's funny, though, is that Stern actually thought that was a compliment. Stern has become such a wussified sycophant, he doesn't realize that telling Kamala that he'd vote for a wall is telling her that he knows she's as dumb as...
Greg Gutfeld, never one to miss a punchline, jokes that Howard Stern's MIC should come equipped with a seat belt, a trigger warning, and a corporate-approved apology manual. Every broadcast sounds like it's been dry cleaned by HR and steam pressed for safety. And those legendary interviews, once raw, unpredictable showdowns, now so sanitized, you'd think he was questioning lab-grown bacteria in a biohazard suit. Enter Trump, lobbing insults from afar without breaking stride. To him, Stern isn't a threat. He's a faded relic clinging to relevance by hugging the same celebrities he used to torch. Trump doesn't even have to go for the jugular. All he has to do is name-drop Stern's new A-list buddies, and it's enough to trigger a laugh track. Because let's be honest, Howard's become everything he used to destroy. He went from roast master to welcome mat, rolling out the carpet for Hollywood's most over-recycled takes. The man who once bit the hands that fed him now licks boots for approval. And not even high-end boots, just the generic ones from the bargain bin of elite validation.
I find that his definition of wokeism is very simplistic. I mean, it's like, it's not about COVID jabs.
I didn't get that either. He was like, I love the vaccine. I'm woke.
It's not unlike Howard Stern. I mean, talk about a transition. On Tuesday, he conducted an interview with Kamala Harris that was so simpering and feminine, I got my period while listening to it.
And here's the kicker. Howard still thinks he's a rebel. He genuinely believes that muttering, I used to be wild, somehow earns him cultural street cred. It's like a guy in a leather jacket at a retirement home, telling bar fight stories no one asked for. Meanwhile, Gutfeld slices him up like a media surgeon, scalpel in one hand, punchline in the other. He doesn't have to exaggerate. Stern's become a parody of himself. The man who pioneered uncensored radio now runs every thought through a mental focus group. It's like watching a punk band reunite to play elevator music. The faces are familiar. The fire is gone. Trump, He's not threatened. He's entertained. Watching Howard chase relevance is like watching someone try to light fireworks in the rain. Loud intentions, zero spark. Trump could sneeze and draw more outrage than a month of Stern's sterilized monologues. And the ratings? Let's not even go there. Stern's numbers, once the holy grail of radio, are now a sad little bullet point on a PowerPoint slide no intern wants to present. The audience didn't vanish. They evolved. They saw through the act. Howard didn't lose his fans. He traded them for a good Yelp review from a celebrity cocktail party.
When I watch them on Saturday Night Live with the where they have Maya Rudolph playing you, I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Oh my God.
There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now, I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
So a guy who's supposed to be funny for a living now claims her candidacy is too important to joke about. This is a guy who once joked right after the Columbine massacre that the killers should have raped the students before killing them. Not that I like that.
Greg Gutfeld wraps it all up with comedic napalm, the kind that only burns when it's laced with truth. He's not just mocking Stern's fall, he's illuminating the void it left behind. When the loudest voice in media starts whispering, the silence doesn't just echo, it indicts. Howard used to disrupt. Now he tiptoes. He once questioned everything. Now he checks with legal. The brand that once thrived on unpredictability has calcified into something so safe, so scripted, you could program it into a smartwatch. His panic isn't just in his voice, it's in every move, surrounding himself with yes men, cozying up to legacy media, and trading authenticity for applause from the elite box seats. He's not trying to lead the conversation anymore, he's trying to blend into it. And for a man who built his empire on standing out, that's not a pivot. That's a burial. Trump, meanwhile, doesn't even blink. What's Howard going to do? Lecture him? That's like a helium balloon calling out a tank. One puff of real talk and Stern floats away, clinging to a vintage version of himself like it still matters. The old Howard would have turned this moment into a flamethrower. The new one, he's asking his producers if it's safe to spark a match. This isn't evolution. It's self-erasure.
It is incredibly brave to take this stance after you've made $400 million not being woke, right? Loving Donald Trump, exploiting the mentally ill, wearing blackface. Look at the crop of woke comics, whether it's Stern or Jimmy Kimmel, his BFF, Sarah Silverman, Joy Behar, Michael Ian Black. What do they all have in common? They wore blackface. And then they went woke. It's not a chicken or egg thing there. You know what order it came. So I call this BFR. It's blackface reparations. There's nothing in Stern's previous career that could withstand this modern witch hunt that he now.
Every time Howard tries to claw his way back into relevance, Gutfeld's there like a scoreboard flashing highlights of who he used to be and receipts of what he became. He's not just commentary. He's the mirror Stern can't avoid. Because once you become the very thing you spent decades trying to destroy, the only fans left are the ones who never really knew you. Howard's not evolving, he's hiding in plain sight. Even a chameleon changes color with more integrity. He's not rewriting the rules, he's rewriting his own history. But history keeps receipts, and Gutfeld reads them out loud like a roast in chapter form. Hypocrisy by hypocrisy, sellout by sellout. And then there's Trump, the footnote that won't go away. The name Stern tries to edit out of his story, but that keeps trending in bold anyway. The once uncensored rebel who took shots at celebrities is now the one offering to drive them home. The guy who used to throw punches now throws cocktail parties. And Gutfeld's harshest jab. It's not that Howard is wrong. It's that he's dull. Because when your legacy is built on shock and awe, becoming Baze isn't just boring. It's betrayal. The kind fans never forget and never forgive.
We had an exhausting weekend. Emotionally, physically. For the first time in 2 years, I ventured out of the house. Now, maybe he's exaggerating. We all do that. In fact, the more successful you get in media, the more exhausting the easiest things become.
And Trump, His watching the implosion like a guy at a demolition derby who bet the building would fall sideways, and now he's watching it happen in glorious slow motion, nachos in hand. This isn't a comeback story. It's a surrender. Howard Stern didn't evolve. He melted into the couch cushions of celebrity culture, surrounded by throw pillows embroidered with safe takes and lukewarm applause. He doesn't make headlines anymore. He recites them carefully, like a novice MC hoping not to offend the seating chart at the next industry gala. Meanwhile, Gutfeld's pen cuts deeper than ever. Trump's circling Stern's legacy in metaphorical donuts, grinning like a kid on recess with no bell in sight. Howard's greatest fear isn't crossing the line. It's being forgotten entirely. But that ship hasn't just sailed. It bulldozed the dock and sank the whole harbor with it. He's no longer the rebel. He's the warning label. The once mighty shock jock who swapped fire for fluff, confrontation for cocktail banter, and guts for gallery invites. Gutfeld laughs. Trump wins. And Howard? He just keeps apologizing. The man who once flipped the bird to conformity is now its voicemail greeting. Once feared, now ignored. Once Roy, now shelf-stable, wrapped in plastic and shelved between gluten-free slogans and corporate We Care campaigns.
Swore that'll win over the woke. He's a regular Huey Newton of the Hamptons. Here's my theory. Wokeism is a contagion. Stern got it from Jimmy Kimmel, his new best friend, and Kimmel got it from his wife, and his wife got it from where you get all infections.
No punchline required, because Howard Stern is the punchline. And the best part, he keeps writing new ones. Just when you think he's reached peak self-parody, he drops another overpolished monologue that sounds less like radio and more like a LinkedIn caption drafted by a PR intern sipping oat milk. The man who once torched Hollywood with a flamethrower now seems desperate for an invite to their cruelty-free vegan brunch table. His biggest flex today, telling you what he won't say. That's his bar now. Not boldness. Not edge. Just a pristine record of never ruffling the wrong feathers. Gutfeld doesn't even need fresh material. He just plays old Stern clips and shrugs. See that guy? He had guts. The new guy has a Netflix login and anxiety meds. Trump. He doesn't need writers either. One off-the-cuff remark lands harder than Howard's entire sanitized weekly broadcast. And the tragedy, it's not even tragic. It's hilarious because the collapse is so thoroughly documented. Every pivot, every pander, every cringeworthy attempt at elite validation, it's all right there, in HD. No mystery. No mystique, just a long, slow unraveling from icon to irony. And while Howard drowns in compliments from the very people who used to fear him, Gutfeld and Trump are still out in the wild, doing exactly what Howard pretended to do. Calling out the circus, not performing in it,